And one thing I want to show you in this video are the markers. So you can set markers over the timeline. So if I hover over frame 10 and I press on the M key, you can see I have a marker. Markers are named based on the keyframe where you set it in. So if I go to frame 15 and press a marker, press on M, I'm going to create F15 and F10 and so on. If you want to rename the marker, you can double click on this and you can rename it to whatever you want. For example, main pose, whatever. If I go to frame 15, I can do extra character entering. Now this is more advanced. You don't really need to do that. I don't rename markers myself, but it's still good to know that there's an option about that. Now, if you want to move the marker, you can select this and then press on G to move it around like this. And you can press on X to delete the marker and then delete the marker like this. Now, markers are very, very useful if you want to jump between cameras. So I'm going to delete these two markers and I'm going to show you an example. So I'm going to press on X, delete, X and delete. Now I'm going to create a camera. Actually, I'm going to create two cameras. So I'm going to press on Shift A. Let's create a camera. One camera which watches the cube from here. I'm going to delete the keyframe, go to frame 0, and let's place one camera over here. And make sure to delete the keyframe because we don't really need it. Now I'm going to Shift D and duplicate this camera, and then place it on the opposite side, somewhere over here, so that it's watching the cube from the opposite direction. Now, if I press on numpad 0, you'll notice that I'm jumping not in this camera, but in this camera. And the way I can know which camera is the main one is if it has this whole field. So if it has the triangle full, it means it's the main camera. If it has the triangle empty, it means it's not the active camera. But I can switch between them really easily. So let's say I want to first preview this camera, and I want to preview this camera. I can select this, and instead of numpad 0, I can click on Control numpad 0. So now this camera is going to become the main one. You can see the triangle is filled and it's no longer filled here. But when you're working in animations, when you're making actual animation in animated movies, you don't want to do that. You want to switch between the cameras easy. So what you can do for that is, first of all, I'm going to make this camera main again by pressing Control numpad 0. And let's say I want this camera to be active from frame 0 to frame 15. And then I want to jump right into the next camera. So what I can do is select this camera, go to frame 15, and then press on M to create a marker. And now I can bind this camera to marker. So to do that, I can go to marker and then press on bind camera to marker, and you can see the Control B is the shortcut. So I usually like to go to the marker and press on Control B, and now it's going to bind camera to marker. It's going to create a camera icon over here. So if I want to jump into the next camera, I can go to frame 16, click on M to create another marker. Now select the other camera and then press on Control B. And now watch what happens. This triangle is going to be filled here again. So press on Control B. And there you go. Now it becomes an active camera. So if I'm on frame 16 and onwards, this camera is going to be active. But if I'm on frame 15 and on the previous keyframes, this camera is going to become active. So now watch what happens when I enter the camera view. So if I play my animation, I'm first going to be here and then here. So first camera, second camera. I'm actually going to delete all the keyframes for now so that you can preview what's happening. So this is the first camera and the second camera. So that's a very good and useful way to switch between the cameras. And that can be done with the markers pretty easily. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below. So I will see you in the next lecture.